Hello friends, in today's video, Maggie and I, and Alicia of course, there we go, the dream team, the killer combo, we want to answer the burning question, how do I know if it's appropriate for me to go up in weight on a specific exercise? And I'm glad you asked. There's 3 questions that I would use to help determine that decision. So the first one is, what's the risk to benefit? And what I mean by that is not all exercises are created the same. There is certain exercises, just like anything else, just like driving in your car. So I'm not trying to freak you out or let's not overreact, but just like driving in your car, there's a risk to driving a car. There's a risk to walking on the sidewalk. There's a risk to everything we do. So you have to look at the risk to benefit of each exercise, and you have to think about, like, what's the risk to benefit of this exercise? If I have a pre-existing injury, or if I have an injury that happened 5 years ago, there is a higher probability of getting re-injured versus someone that's never had an injury to a specific area. And that does in no means mean you should excuse yourself from strength training or strength in that area, because getting stronger typically helps. But what it does mean is I may want to progress more slowly. Another example would be like on an overhead press, it is putting stress on the shoulder. It's typically a good stress, but there is such thing as too much of a good thing. So that's something I'm going to, take into consideration. Whereas like a dumbbell or cable row where you're pulling a weight to you, I can honestly say in more than 2 decades, I've never seen a single person get hurt doing something like that. So, the exercise does matter, and your circumstances related to the exercise does matter, but that's why we're here as coaches. We can help think through that. And for the most part, we've already thought through that in advance for you. So second thing to think about is, what is the intent or what is the goal of the exercise? So for example, why am I doing this exercise? Is it something like a medicine ball slam where the intent is speed and power? Well, if that's the case, more weight isn't going to benefit you necessarily. What would benefit you is throwing it harder or throwing it faster, because it's all about power and explosiveness. Whereas if it's like a cable row or a dumbbell row or a squat, the goal generally is to increase strength. So the intent should be to slowly progress to heavier weights. So that's the second question you want to think about. And then the third and final question that you want to think about is, oftentimes I look at it as like, could I do 2 more? Meaning, could I do 2 more repetitions with good form without everything melting apart? And if so, then maybe it's worth considering going up in weight. So 3 questions that I think through when I'm determining, is this appropriate to go up in exercise for a client, or go up in weight on a specific exercise for a client. 1, what's the risk to benefit? Are there factors there that I need to take into consideration? 2, what's the intent of the exercise? What's the goal of the exercise? And then 3rd, what's their form look like? Could they do a couple more repetitions with the existing weight that they're using? And if so, then maybe it's appropriate to go up. So there you have it, the inner workings of how my brain thinks about increasing weights. So that's all I got. Have a good day. Say goodbye. Maggie, where? Maggie? All right, bye.